So it's my pleasure to introduce Abraham Dannan.
Nice to meet you.
Me too. So Abraham has just had a match here with Kevin Corkhill, which came out to a draw. So there was no sub in that match, and that's like a sort of a super fight. They
agreed to like an open weight bout. Kev is a lot lighter than I am at this moment. I weighed in at 79. I think he's about in the low 70s, maybe high 60s.
Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting match, but it's not very common that I end a match in a draw. It's always either a quick finish or a dominant finish from my end. But Kev is a really talented athlete, and I've trained with him quite a lot in the past as well, so I know his calibre, and we both kept a very similar pace. I got a very deep sub entry, but obviously the rule set, it says it's sub only, so it doesn't really matter who's pushing the pace more. If there's no sub, there's obviously no win for either parties, so
yeah,
it's an interesting match.
Mm-hmm. And you are a brown belt, is that right?
I am, yeah, as of recently, yeah.
As of recently, and a very active Jiu-Jitsu competitor.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen you pop up on the ground on my feed, so I'm just interested to, first of all, let's talk about the match. So you said you got deep in on a sub attempt?
It was about halfway, yeah, it was deep in on an ankle lock, and you can actually hear in the video, I'll find it somewhere, it popped a few times and I was like, oh, this he's going to tap to this now. I was getting really excited, but he didn't tap to it. Kev, he's got the heart of a warrior. He got out of it. We continued the match. The last 5 minutes went on. It was pretty much quite even from that point onwards, and yeah, that was as far as the match went, really.
So, say when you felt the pops, is that a point where you're sticking with it?
It's a point where I put it on even harder, because obviously outside of the mats, wherever you are, you could be friends outside, but in the mats, like, I just see the medal, I see the win, I see my goals and my future, and whoever I get put against on the mats, it's just if you have to beat them any way you can, within the limits of the rules as well. So
how did he get out of that in the end, or did you have to let it go? Because
it was at a strange angle, because I had it on the outside, he rolled under, and I rolled under as well. That's when it popped, when I was belly down. And then I think we were both quite sweaty at this point, so his ankle slipped out in the last second before I managed to yank it on, and then we stood up again, and then the whole match was very back and forth from that point.
Yeah. Okay. Was there any point where you felt you were in trouble with Kev?
There wasn't any point, actually. He had a lot of entries, but nothing sunk in as deep as that ankle lock within the match. My leg lock defense is second to none. That's all he really went for. He went for a flying triangle attempt, but you can't beat me on my own game. That's my game. You can't beat me on my own game. But as for entries from his end, it wasn't anything deep that I felt threatened by. His style was very strange, though. Even in training, it's the strangest style I've ever had to go against, and it's something that I'm definitely gonna have to go to his gym to train with again, because you don't find that anywhere else in the world. It's just he's one of a kind as an athlete.
Okay. So Kev is a first degree black belt, and forgive my ignorance, that's higher than just a black belt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get your black belt, then you get your first degree.
Yeah.
After 3 years, is it?
I believe it's within the same span as what it would take to get your next belt. So he's been a black belt for quite some time now, and obviously I'm quite proud to say that I can work at that high pace with guys of that calibre.
Yeah.
Been doing it since purple belt as well, so it's nothing new to my resume.
So you're 21, is that right?
I've just turned 22 as of 2 months ago, yeah.
Okay, so 22-year-old high-level competitor right now. And I want to, first of all, I'm going to ask, what is your vision or your plan for your trajectory, if you don't mind sharing that with us? How do you see your future unfolding?
So for me, I've always wanted to be the best at what I do in anything that I compete in, anything that I practice in. And for Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts in general, I want to be classed as one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all times within the sport. I want to inspire the next generation, and I want people to put me on like a list with the names such as Gordon Ryan, Craig Jones, and even when I decide to endeavour in MMA eventually, I want to be on that list as well with all the greats. I want to be the best at what I do. I want people to see me as one of the greatest of all time.
Okay, excellent. And I feel like the age that you are now, I mean, Gordon Ryan got his GOAT status around 26, 27, 28, right?
Yeah, something around that time, yeah.
So it's exciting for me to be able to have you here on Jits Quips and chat to you, man, pick your brains as a high-level competitor. Okay, so that's your trajectory, that's your vision. How far have you got with the plan?
So with obviously it's hard to say how far you are down the line, but
yeah.
Since the trials really, since the ADCC trials last year in Poland, the following on Instagram has gone up, way up. The fan base has increased. People messaging me saying like I've inspired them. People saying that they potentially want to train with me one day, and just to see that I'm actually making an impact on other people, that's what brings me happiness. To say that I'm making an impact on these people, and even up and comers asking me for tips and stuff. That's what makes me happy as an athlete, to show to the younger generation that it's possible. You come from any background and you can still make it despite the odds, and you can still get on that path to success. It's just consistency, and that's the main key. So
have you had to face adversity in your development?
Yeah, so it's quite an emotional one, this. So the reason why I started really was because as a kid I had a lot of traumatic experiences growing up, a lot of domestic violence cases and stuff. So I wanted to feel more comfortable with myself as a man. That's why I started doing combat sports, and I wasn't the best in school as well, in terms of listening to teachers and stuff. So I had to get my head down on one thing, and it was this. And since I was a young kid, I've done about 10 years now, and the last year honestly has been a crazy year. So I actually got kicked out last year from my house, and I was made homeless. So as of recently, I've had to pick myself up, and despite all the odds, I was still competing, still went to the trials, still did all the high-level competitions, despite literally being in the most depressed state of my life. And I also want to say that if anyone out there listening to this now, if you're in a deep state of sadness, there's always a way out. You've just got to find it within yourself, and once you do, no one can stop you. That's my mentality now, is untouched. When I'm out there on the mats, when I'm out there with anyone, nothing can break me anymore, because I went through that and I managed to overcome that on my own. So nothing can actually break me out there anymore. Mentally, I'm untouched out there.
Okay. Yeah. I've had an experience as well. So I came to Jiu-Jitsu at 35.
Yeah.
So pretty late on. But I found that being able to practice Jiu-Jitsu, it gave me an opportunity to use my body in a way that I always sort of either wanted to or thought that I might be able to. It was an empowering feeling to be able to do that after having, from some experiences in my childhood, being made to feel powerless. So I feel I can relate to what you're saying there a bit.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting that you mentioned about going down to your lowest part possibly in your life, being made homeless, because on the episode that we've just released, we talk about value, and I talk about my realization that the value is from the inside, and it's not connected to anything external, and we're born with it. So I feel like possibly that's something that you alluded to. You said it comes from within, right?
You had to pull it from within. Literally, I had zero hope whatsoever. The only thing that was keeping me going was my training schedule. That was the motivation. At the end of the day, go to training, start of the day, go to training. It was twice a day I was training at this point. And despite everything that was going on, staying in my car, staying on my friend's couch, I'd still make sure my kit was washed for the next day to go to training. That was the goal. The next day I was thinking about what's next, and competing always kept me on track. Because if it wasn't for training, if it wasn't for Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts, I'd probably be somewhere really bad right now. Probably be somewhere a lot worse. So to say the least, like, I know it's a very generic term, but martial arts did really save my life.
Yeah,
it did.
Good. Thank you for sharing that with us, Abraham. I appreciate it. Maybe you've already answered this question, but why do you practice Jiu-Jitsu?
It's just who I am as a person, someone who wants a challenge, and it's, I'd like to say, one of the hardest sports in the world out there, and it's a battle between yourself. No matter who's out there with you, it's always you versus you, and I love to beat myself at the last thing that I did. So I love to beat myself in terms of who did I compete against last time? Was the person I competed against this time better than the last person? How can I improve for next time? It's always self-improvement, and I'd say Jiu-Jitsu, even for the hobbyists out there when they get started, is probably the best sport you can do at any age to mark your own self-improvement, and it's just a challenge. I do love the challenge, and I'm literally game for anyone. Yeah.
Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to put on?
I've mentioned a few times that I'm going to be doing the MMA debut this year, so I've got the gloves on. The striking work is being done, and should be in there this year. So that's a little announcement. Nothing more from there. But we are stepping up the game now. We're going to change it, and we're getting in there at the end of this year.
All right. So I'm guessing we'll see all that on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
Abraham Dannan. So it's literally Abraham Dannan, full name. I'm sure you can tag me or something.
Yeah, we'll tag you.
There's only one Abraham Dannan out there, so there's...
Yeah, man. Yes. Exciting stuff. And has MMA always been something that you plan to pursue?
Yeah, so when I was 12 years old, starting out in Jiu-Jitsu, I did a bit of boxing prior to that, but it was always the goal. I just started Jiu-Jitsu by accident. I went to an MMA class, I came an hour early, and it was Jiu-Jitsu before, so if it wasn't for me turning up an hour early, I might have never been doing Jiu-Jitsu at a high level. But MMA's always been the goal, and that's where my heart's set now. Okay.
Excellent. All right. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's an honour, and we'll be following your progress. I'm excited to see it.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right. Go on. Stay low, right? Is it head low? Put him on his back. You've done the rest of your game. Come on, let's try and pass. Come on. Dynamic. Go up on a single. That's it now. Side to side.
Dad? I want to see on your... I want to step. I can't remember what
Hey, look this
Okay, we're approaching halfway. Let's do some encouragement for these guys.
Come on, mate. Got it, you've got 2 minutes. Come on now. Hey, come on, look at it.
Minute remaining. Let's hear it for 1 minute left. Time. Okay, with no submission.